Hey guys, me Adsworth to you guys to give you guys my second match day preview for the round of 16, Borussia Dortmund versus Paris Saint-Germain. All right. Now, before we get started, I want to go ahead and give you guys when the dates for the games are going to be. For this one, it will be taking place February 18th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The first leg that will be taking place at the Westfalen Stadium. Okay, I probably butchered that. Okay. And then the second leg will be taking place March 11th, 4 p.m. at the Parc des Princes. Parc des Princes. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and give you guys let's go ahead and go through this. So, yeah. So the head-to-head record, as you guys know, I usually go over this, and the two teams are relatively balanced. I wouldn't say one team is like overly like superior head-to-head record-wise. They both are pretty much the same. 2 draws between the two, and the most recent game took place November 2010, when both Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain drew in the Europa League group stage. It was a 0-0 draw, I believe. So, and honestly, to tell you the truth, guys, it's going to be pretty much a decade. It's almost going to be a decade from now, and could you believe it? 10 years later, these two teams are going to be meeting in the round of 16. The UEFA Champions League. All right. Their European form. So this season, Borussia Dortmund finished second in Group F. And I'm going to be completely straight up honest with you guys. They really were fortunate. They were super fortunate that Inter Milan lost to Barcelona, a B team reserve. And had it not been for Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund wouldn't even be in the stage. So they have Barcelona to thank there. All right. Paris Saint-Germain finished first in Group A. Pretty relatively easy group, I would say. Borussia Dortmund were very lucky. I'm going to be honest right now. They're very fortunate to go through. As far as last season, both teams went out in disappointing fashion. I mean, Borussia Dortmund lost against Tottenham Hotspur 4-0 in aggregate. Couldn't even score a goal. Now that's really, really, really sad. As for Paris Saint-Germain, they also lost to Manchester United 3-3 on aggregate, and both of these teams should not have lost. I think we can all agree that both of these teams should have easily won against a respective opposition, and these two teams were very disappointing. These two teams were very disappointing last season in the knockout stage. They looked really good last season in the group stage, but really failed to deliver in the knockout stage, and that's where it really matters. I'll be honest with you guys, the group stage isn't really it's important, but I wouldn't go as far as saying that it defines you. It's what you do in the knockout stage that really sets you apart. Okay? So domestically, as of today, Borussia Dortmund are currently third right now in the league with 39 points, and Paris Saint-Germain are currently first in the league with 61 points. And it is safe to say that Paris Saint-Germain are going to win the league. I think it's a pretty obvious claim that's obviously here, and Borussia Dortmund are trying to fight try to win the Bundesliga title and try to get to the Champions League group stage next year. All right. So now this brings me to my strengths and weaknesses. As for Borussia Dortmund, with the new additions of Erling Haaland and Emre Can, this team looks rejuvenated and can score tons of goals. I mean, Borussia Dortmund, they have scored in their last 4 games. In their last 5 games, they have scored 15, 18, 15, 17, 20 goals. That's really good. That's really good. That's really good. Okay. That's very impressive. However, they have conceded tons of goals as well. 3, 4, 6, 9. They conceded 9 goals in the last 5 games. That is not good. That is very poor. That's not a good defensive record. And I can assure you guys, Paris Saint-Germain can easily destroy this team. And Paris Saint-Germain are basically the same as Borussia Dortmund. They can score tons of goals as well. And however, I think the thing that's the worst part about Paris Saint-Germain is that they have a very weak mentality. Now, I put bad history on here. I'm going to probably edit this and say weak mentality because their mentality is not very good. When it really matters the most, they always fail to deliver. I mean, you could go into last season. They failed. They should have won against Manchester United. You could go to the season prior where they lost to Real Madrid. And then the season before that, you can talk about they lost to Barcelona. Yes. And they really should have done much better. They really should have done much better in those games. And it's that in itself that will really hang them over. Okay? And I genuinely think both of these teams, it's a very hard call to predict because on one hand, you can easily go with Paris Saint-Germain. However, they don't even have a very good record in this competition. They haven't even made it since they haven't made it past the quarterfinals in I believe the last 6 years. They've always stumbled in this stage. As for Borussia Dortmund, they also haven't been doing too well either. I mean, both of these teams do not look like teams I can trust. These teams are very odd, and with all due respect. And one of the things that I find very struggling is that which team do I pick? Because both of the teams are basically the same attacking wise. Both these teams have very good attacking. Now, although I could probably argue that Paris Saint-Germain have more talent, I think Paris Saint-Germain, their attackers are more prolific. Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Icardi, Cavani, Di Maria. These guys are probably more prolific than Borussia Dortmund's attacks. However, Borussia Dortmund have a very good sense of attack too. Erling Haaland. Then they have Jadon Sancho. They also have Thorgan Hazard. I mean, this Dortmund team is also very respected and talented too. And it's just difficult to get what they can deliver because for me, this team can really underwhelm. This team can very easily underwhelm you. And this team can sometimes do stuff that you wouldn't expect, you know? And yeah. Before we go into any further, guys, I would like to mention some injuries that both of these teams will be going through. It's presumably safe that Marco Reus will not feature against Paris Saint-Germain, at least the first leg. He could maybe feature in the second leg. I'm not really sure that's going to happen. We will see. You know, it's difficult to get a feel if he will or not. Also, and for Paris Saint-Germain, Neymar is injured. He may not feature against Borussia Dortmund. Now, I don't know for sure whether he will or will not. It's a kind of a 50-50. I heard some news reports say that Thomas Tuchel will not start Neymar if he's not fully fit. I'm assuming that they're probably going to rest Neymar and try to make him get a speedy recovery because they're going to need him, guys. They're going to need Neymar against Borussia Dortmund because, for me, in order for Paris Saint-Germain to go through very far in this competition, Neymar needs to be at his fullest, okay? And we cannot talk about how far they'll get into until they beat Borussia Dortmund because they're going to have to beat Borussia Dortmund in order to get ladder in the latter stages. However, I still think this is very difficult, and I think this is a lot of psychologically speaking, I think both teams are coming into this with very huge pressure from their manager, Luis Fabre, you know, and then Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is visiting his former team, Borussia Dortmund. That could ease the pressure. That could maybe make things a lot more difficult. That remains to be seen how that will play out. And it's going to be very fascinating. I think this is going to be one of the best round of 16 games that is in the Champions League. And I'm very curious to see how this one ends up being, which leads to my prediction. All right. And I'm still not as confident as I would say. I'm a bit reserved. I'm making this prediction. However, I'm not feeling too confident. I'm feeling okay. And just for me, I'm going to go with Paris Saint-Germain to win this. I think Paris Saint-Germain have a more real team, to be honest. And I think Paris Saint-Germain are more of a better team. I think if they could get everything together, if they could get the dress and mentality, they can have Neymar, they can have everyone fit, you know, and they can really put their very best. I genuinely think they can beat Borussia Dortmund, okay? And it's not to say that Borussia Dortmund are pushovers. I mean, they've looked great too. Erling Haaland is a really big player. And you're going to expect tons of goals. There's going to be a lot of goals in this game, a lot of goals. And I just have a feeling that this time it is PSG's year to do it. I think PSG will finally get over the line. I think they'll finally address their poor record in this competition and finally just go through. And Borussia Dortmund, they're going to stumble. I think a 2-2 draw will probably happen, and the Signal Iduna Park or Westfalenstadion, and then the Parc des Princes, Paris Saint-Germain will easily brush up a 2-0 win at home stadium. Okay. However, even though I'm going with Paris Saint-Germain to win this, it's not to say Borussia Dortmund can't win this. It's just I just don't know. I'm just kind of going with what I see, and I just think that over the 2 legs, I fancy Paris Saint-Germain more. I think Paris Saint-Germain are a more consistent team than Borussia Dortmund, because Borussia Dortmund, guys, they scored 3 away goals and still lost. That is not good. Okay. And I just think that PSG's defense is pretty good. Keylor Navas is great. Marquinhos, although I'm not sure Marquinhos will play, it remains to be seen. Not to mention they also have Verratti, Munier, Kimpembe, Kurzawa, Draxler. I think this team is seriously good. I genuinely think that it's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough. The Champions League is what's really going to define them. And I think this will really... And so, yeah, like I said, guys, I'm not too sure how this is going to end up going, but I'm going with Paris Saint-Germain to win this one, okay? Just about, okay? I will see how they perform later on this competition, and it's very difficult. And so, yeah. And let me just go and say this right now, guys. I think Neymar will try his best. I think this time Neymar is more motivated than ever, and I think Neymar's presence can make a huge difference. Because if Neymar's on the pitch, then I think they could seriously beat Borussia Dortmund. Now, if Neymar's not on the pitch for the first home leg, the first leg and second leg, then I think Borussia Dortmund could, and I say could now, they could potentially still advance. Although I still think Kylian Mbappe, Di Maria, Draxler, Icardi, I still think this could be difficult. So I think Neymar will make things a lot easier, obviously. However, I don't know. I think Borussia Dortmund can still potentially win when not Neymar's present. Neymar's such an important player. Although you could also make the argument that Mbappe is more influential than Neymar. Yeah. So we will see how this goes. And so, yeah. Before I close the video off, I would like to say on Sunday, I'll be back with the Champions League preview. That one will be Valencia versus Atalanta, I think. And then Monday will be RB Leipzig versus Tottenham Hotspur. All right. And so the next 2 days, I'm going to basically be talking about the Barcelona versus Getafe game. All right. And so, yeah, the players to look out for, I would say, are, I already mentioned Haaland for Borussia Dortmund. I think Hakimi is also one to look out for. Jadon Sancho, I would also look out for him. Paris Saint-Germain, I think Neymar is going to be obviously the big one. Mbappe as well, I think Mbappe will take. And probably Keylor Navas, I think Navas will get some recognition. So that's it for you guys. Let me know what you guys think below in the comments below. And do you guys agree with me? Do you guys think Paris Saint-Germain can win this? And are you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with this prediction? Because I think this one is a very almost evenly split. Like I can see you make a valid argument for both of the teams. And so, yeah, peace out.